Hello, everyone. Hello.
What's up,
We
y'all?
hey, happy Friday night. We're so excited to be back with you all again for another virtual happy hour. We're so glad to see so many of you tuning in with us tonight, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. We have a great lineup. We have so much to celebrate during this virtual happy hour. We are going to be kicking off the NAVCon Virtual Summit, which takes place tomorrow. And if you check the chat, you will find the link to register if you haven't already. But we have a great lineup planned for tomorrow. We're also celebrating the beginning of holiday season with these delicious sweet potato drinks and appetizers and things like that. So we have some creative spins on it. We feel like you guys know the classics, so we're going to give you some new inspiration for how to incorporate sweet potatoes. And then we're doing a giveaway for an air fryer. We'll tell you more about that soon. We've got some trivia. And we also will have some special guests joining us midway through, some recent alumni of our first ever activist training program. So we have got a full lineup. I think I've said enough to get started. Hey, everybody, how you doing tonight?
Hey,
Feeling good, feeling great.
hey, so excited
for tomorrow.
Yes, can't wait.
Yes, tomorrow's gonna be on and popping, y'all.
Yes, and Ray, Jess, and Jamila are leading the way with our cooking demos for our happy hour treats tonight. And we see people starting to pop up in the chat. So thanks so much for tuning in. You know the drill. If you're watching with us, shout out where you're watching from. We want to say hi so we can give you a shout out. We see Lita Logical and Crystal Morris already in the room, in the digital room with us tonight. Along with Soraya. Am I saying that right? Hi, Soraya. This is a new name. So I'm excited to see you here. We have so many returning folks who watch these lives with us, but we're happy to see new names too. From Oakland. Hey, Oakland, California in the house. So Jess, Jamila, and Ray, do you want to let the folks know what you are preparing tonight?
Absolutely. So I'm going to kick everything off with a sangria drink. It's just going to be something with orange juice and orange liqueur. And then I'm going to have my sweet potato fries with an aioli dip, my special aioli dip.
All right, so I am making something I've never made before, but I'm so excited about it. The sweet potatoes make it so festive. So it's a little like a spin on hummus, but in place of chickpeas, we're going to use sweet potatoes. So I'm making a yummy sweet potato dip tonight.
And I'm going to keep it simple. I'm not going to hold y'all because you heard the lineup that we have is action-packed tonight, okay? So I am just going to do some yams. You know, we got the Thanksgiving holiday coming up. We'll keep it simple with some yams, something that might be on your plate, or you can put on somebody else's plate.
Mm-hmm.
All of those options sound super delicious, and we're really excited to see you cook those up. And before we get into those recipes, I think that it'll be great to kick it off with a little bit of Afro-Vegan trivia. So Jasmine and I have put together some questions, and we're going to be quizzing you all, and also our lovely cooking demo instructors are going to be tuning in with what they think. So I can kick it off with the first question, and what we need you to do is type in what your guess is in the comments. We'll give you a little bit to think it over. We'll hear from the AVS team about what they think the answer is, and then we'll let you know what the answer is. So let me pull this up. Okay, so the first question for trivia tonight is, let's see. In what year did Alvenia Fulton open Fultonia Health and Fasting Institute, a combination health food store, vegetarian cafe, and herbal pharmacy on the south side of Chicago? So we want to know what year Alvenia Fulton opened up a health and fasting institute and health food store on the south side of Chicago. Here are the options. A, 1936, B, 1987, C, 1959, or D, 1978. I wish we had some Jeopardy music.
Right.
I get a 70s vibe, so I'm going to probably go with D.
Okay.
You know what? I was going to go 80s, because it's kind of like midway, not too early, not too late. So I'll say 87.
I'm going to go with the 70s as well. I know there were activism was heavy then, and it wasn't just about the fight for rights. It was also about nutrition, getting smarter about what's on the plate. So I'm going to take a guess out there and go with the 70s answer as well.
And what do you think, Jasmine?
I'm
I'm going to go with D.
You're gonna go B 1987?
D is an
Oh,
L.
D 1978?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, and let's see. We have some guesses in the chat. Crystal Morse thinks 1987. D thinks 1987, 1978. Ooh, okay. I'll be honest. I designed this question and I don't know why I put 78 and 87 in there because I'm struggling, but most of our guesses are either 1978 or 1987, and the correct answer is D.
Oh,
1978.
All
So
right.
it is believed that Fultonia Health and Fasting Institute is the first health food establishment in an African American neighborhood in the United States. So very historical, very
Big
impactful.
ones.
amazing.
That's such a fun fact. I love that. Now I want to research it.
Right. I am.
Yes.
Right now.
All right, I'll go ahead and jump into the next question. So this question is, which individual is considered to be the father of gourmet ethical raw food cuisine in America? Is it A, Dr. Eris Latham, B, Alfred Bauman, or AKA Dr. Sebi, C, Dick Gregory, or D, Walter Andrews?
Right, in the comments, let us know what you think. AVS team, what do we think?
So again, the question is, which individual is considered to be the father of gourmet ethical raw food cuisine in America?
Oh, in America. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, the gourmet word is throwing me off because it's like gourmet.
Mhm.
You know,
Can you go through the answers again? All I hear is Dr. Sabi, because I want to say Dick Gregory, but obviously he wasn't really raw.
Okay. A, Dr. Eris Latham, B, Alfred Bowman, or Dr. Sebi, C, Dick Gregory, or D, Walter Andrews.
All right, so I'll call out some guesses we have from the commenters, and then we want to hear what y'all think. So we have A, we have a couple people guessing Dick Gregory, we have a few people guessing D, we have quite a few A's. So what do other people think? D, Walter Andrews. Okay, so what do we think here?
you know, I was leaning towards D, so that's my guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Walter Andrews because I don't know who that is, and let's go with that.
I don't know. I don't know who it is either, but I don't know Walter. You know, gourmet. I don't know. So.
Honestly, I was gonna go with that because Dr. Latam, who I love, he definitely does amazing raw cuisine. He's on Instagram. Make sure y'all take him out. ARISLATHAM. He makes delicious food, but he's not based here in the U.S. And Jamila, like you with Dick Gregory, I wasn't sure about the raw part, so yeah, I'm gonna jump with the guy I don't know.
Okay, so I'm still gonna stick with A. He just looks like the godfather of raw food. If you've seen Dr. Aries, he looks like the godfather of raw food. So I'm going with A.
Before I give you all the answer, I have to say this is hilarious because I think back when we were in school and, teachers design, quizzes and tests and they throw things to throw you off. And I definitely threw you off with this question because Walter Andrews is somebody I just made up off the spot.
She got a lot of people in the comments too. That was a very effective strategy.
How could you?
Ray should have stuck with your first thoughts.
What?
It is Dr. Eris Latham, and while he is based in Panama, he did start his live food company back in 1979 in New York City.
Amazing.
Oh, I love him. He's an amazing personality. You guys got to check him out, please. I love him.
Definitely.
Man.
Good one, Jasmine.
I feel a little betrayed, but I'm glad.
Where's the food out here, Jasmine?
That's hilarious.
I love it. Well, our trivia is off to a great start, but now it's time to get into these demos, get these demos started. So we're kicking it off with Jamila, right? So we're going to bring you to center stage and take it away.
Wonderful. Well, hello everyone. Once again, I am Jamila, and I'll be starting with my sangria drink. And if I can be completely honest, I have my ingredients list and my recipe right here. But just like what I always like to do, I like to be intuitive with it. I just like to go with the flow and let the ancestors call me to do things. So I'll let y'all know how I randomly do this drink today, and it's a sangria. We have your red wine, vegan of course. I have some orange juice. I have some orange liqueur. I have light brown sugar. And I'm just going to get some ice really quick and then we can just stir it around. How about that? Great. So I'm going to grab my ice because, I didn't want to just leave it out here to melt. Okay. Ice ready. So I'm just going to drop my ice, probably about 3 cubes, into my beautiful wine glass. So 3 cubes of ice to start off with. And then I'm going to follow up with my red wine, which is my favorite. I love, love, love red wine. So I'm going to pour in probably about 1/4 cup of wine, or maybe 1/2 cup. I feel like that's still about less than 1/2. I'm just going to set that aside. I'm just going to pour in roughly, I would say, 2 tablespoons of the orange liqueur. I have my tablespoon right here. Just going to put in that. Let's just do 2, because I do want this to be a very wine-heavy drink, especially since we're now in the fall. There's just something about red wine that just feels so festive and relaxed and deep. I just love it. And then I have my orange juice. I think I have to shake it up a little bit. And no pulp, by the way. I'm not too sure if you're a pulp lover. If you like to have pulp, do that. I am someone who does not like pulp, never have, never will. So go right ahead if that is what you prefer. Just gonna shake it up a little bit and pour about 1/4 cup of that into my sangria. Beautiful. And now I'm going to do about 1/2 tablespoon, probably a couple, I would say barely a tablespoon of brown sugar. So y'all already know brown sugar be clumping. So let me just give it a little shake, a little hit. Excuse the noise. But yes, absolutely. Give it a little shake, do what you gotta do. And I'm gonna put this into my tablespoon measurement. And honestly, y'all, it is, the clumps are still clumping. I am not having much success, but that's perfectly fine. It doesn't really need sugar, especially since this orange juice already naturally has sugar. So I won't do the most when it comes to this sugar. How about we just stop there? Perfectly fine. Just going to grab, actually I might just take my tablespoon measurements since I haven't used that today. It's perfectly clean. Mix that together until it's evenly mixed. And also, you all know that usually sangria has fruits in it. It'll have like oranges or apples or a type of thing like that. But just pretend that you see apples in here. We can just use our imagination for this. And I like this. So far, so good. I love how the orange juice made it a little bit on the cloudier side. So it kind of makes me feel like I'm drinking something berry-y or, once again, fall-like. So I'm just going to give this a taste since I'm already finished. Y'all. Okay, I'm just going to have to say this. I did not expect this to taste like this. It is good. It definitely tastes like a sangria. I expected, since I didn't put any fruits in it, that it will be lacking or any type of thing like that. But this is sangria all day, every day. So I definitely like this. So make sure that you get yourself some sangria for the holiday season. It'll be great for you and your family members. Obviously 21 plus. Cheers.
Thanks so much for sharing, Jamila. We are going to bring Jess on screen now so she can get started showing us her sweet potato dip.
Awesome.
Hi. Hey, y'all. By the way, Jenna, that looks so good. Very simple, and it looks so refreshing. So I'm going to have to try that one day.
Thank you.
So let me get a little back into what I'm making. So I am making a sweet potato dip inspired by hummus. Now, per my research, meaning Google, that's the extent of my research, hummus in Arabic actually means chickpeas. Excuse me. So in this case, we can't call it hummus, right? So it is hummus-inspired sweet potato dip. So of course you need a sweet potato. I went to the store and I got a large sweet potato, you know, those really big ones. And we need some garlic. And what I did, I pre-prepped. So I roasted them in the oven. Sorry for the parchment paper noise. So I roasted my garlic and I did 3 cloves. I like garlic, so that's why I did 3. And 1 large sweet potato. And this is how much it yielded. Of course, if you have more people, get more sweet potatoes. For me, this is a 1 serving dish just for me. Nobody to share with. So I just did 1. So I roasted this at 375 in the oven for 30 minutes. So I just checked after 30 and I stabbed it with a fork and they were soft and tender. So on this, I drizzled some olive oil and I have salt, cumin, smoked paprika, and a little bit of cayenne. So of course, with the cayenne, do it by taste if you like spicy or less spicy. So I just, sprinkle that on top. And with the dip, when we blend it, we're gonna use a blender. We're gonna add those spices in the dip as well. Okay, so all you do after you roast your garlic and your sweet potatoes, we're gonna add it to a blender. Let it cool. Mine was cooling, I'd say, for about an hour. Of course, hummus. Let me not say hummus. Okay, well, hummus is usually served cold. So since this is hummus inspired. So once you let it cool, I'm gonna go ahead and put it into my blender right now. You know what? I'm curious to see how much this yields. So I'm gonna put it into a little Pyrex just to see what our large sweet potato yielded us. And you're gonna throw it right in your blender along with your roasted garlic, and we got our roasted sweet potato. And oh my gosh, it smells so good in the oven. All those spices are so fragrant together. So once again, I just sprinkled it with salt to taste, a little pepper, cayenne, cumin, and smoked paprika. Okay, so I filled it up. So, oh my gosh, this is about 2 cups. And that was just 1 large sweet potato. So imagine if you get more than 1, you'll have a really big yield for a really big bowl for other people. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this into my blender. Okay, now we add all the good stuff to it. So we're gonna take a half of a lime. So let me go ahead and cut it. You could use lemon, of course, and I don't know. I like the flavor of lime. So we're gonna squeeze half of the lime into my blender. Then we're gonna use tahini. So tahini, if you're not familiar, is a sesame paste, and we're gonna use 3 tablespoons of that. So I just squeeze my lime into my blender. And we're gonna do 3 tablespoons of tahini. This is the kind that I have. You can probably find this in any grocery store. What type of, okay, switch one. Just trying to see if you had any comments. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure it out. So we have 1. And I'm putting this right into my blender. 2. I'm so excited for this. I think this is just a cool spin on hummus, All right, got our 3 tablespoons of tahini. And to that, I'm gonna add some cumin. Okay, we're gonna do a teaspoon of cumin here. And then we're also gonna do a teaspoon of our smoked paprika. For the cayenne, not to make it too spicy for me personally, I'm only gonna use about 1/4. But if you like your spice, you can add a teaspoon of that too. So this is the cayenne, just cayenne, red pepper. So that's our 1/4 teaspoon of the cayenne pepper. Okay, and smoked paprika. So I'm gonna add a teaspoon of that too. This is the one that I have. But any smoked paprika will do. Measuring out my teaspoon. And like I said, so I roasted my sweet potato with all these spices as well. So we really want to jam pack the flavor. I love tahini too, Crystal. It does. I can't think of anything similar to tahini. So it really does have its own taste. So I just have some sea salt here. And I'm going to do a little pinch because I did pre-salt the sweet potatoes already when I roasted them. Okay, so now we're going to do our olive oil. You can use avocado oil, any type of oil that you'd like. You see, it calls for 1 to 2 teaspoons of olive oil. This is the one that I found. You can use extra virgin, avocado, or in my case, just regular olive oil. So I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of olive oil as well. And you could also use a food processor for this. I think most people, when they make their hummus at home, they use a food processor, but we're going to give our blender a try. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how it looks. So this is our roasted garlic and our roasted sweet potato. And I have my cayenne pepper, my smoked paprika, my cumin, and my olive oil, my tahini, and my squeeze of lime. So I'm going to mute you guys so you don't have to cover your ears. And I'm going to give it a good blend, okay? 1 second. And before I hit blend, I just want to say you want to do it to your preferred consistency. I'm going to do it a little thick. You know, I like a thicker hummus. So I'm going to blend it and then show you. You know, that's a good question, Aletha. Could you use almond butter? I don't see why not. I think sweet potatoes and almond butter would taste great in the place of tahini. So that's a great tip. So, okay, I'm going to give it a blend. And then I'll show you the consistency when it's done. I'm going to mute you guys, so don't worry about your ears. So I'm just going to show you just in case you run into this problem. So I have one of these blenders with the little, what is this called? Does this have a name? If you guys know what this is called, let me know. So you see how it's a little stuck at the bottom? I'm just going to give it a little whirl. But this isn't reaching. So if I had more sweet potatoes, it would fill up more. So I'm going to reach in with my spoon and then continue blending. Just to shave down the sides. Oh, it smells so good already though. Taper. That's it, Crystal. Thank you. You know when you have a brain fart? I actually knew that. So I'm just scraping down the sides to get all my ingredients up, and we're going to give it another blend. The consistency doesn't look too bad so far. My apron. But it needs a little bit longer. Make sure you take your spoon out. I don't want to end up your spoon. All right. Put the lid back on, and then I'm going to mute you guys. All right, I'm going to give you a mute. Okay, that looks good to me. So I'm going to show you guys the consistency. But if you like a thinner hummus, I would recommend probably adding like a tablespoon of water at a time. But to me, that looks good. So I'm going to give you a little peek. Can you see that? It looks like hummus to me. But remember, hummus actually means chickpeas. So this is our sweet potato dip. And when you come back to me, I'm going to plate it up and I'm going to show you what I'm serving it with.
Those flavors sound really delicious, Jess, and people in the comments are definitely saying how everything looks good. And so, with that said, we're going to bring it over to Ray so she can show us how to prepare her candied sweet potatoes.
Oh, can I just answer a quick question? So Crystal is saying, will the hummus be sweet or savory or a combination of both? You know what? Since this is my first time making it, we will see. But I'm going to guess that may be a combination of both because we have the sweetness of the sweet potatoes and then the other ingredients and the spices are a little savory. So I don't know, Crystal, but I'm excited. And once I taste, I'll definitely let you know.
Thanks, Jess.
Of
And
course.
here we go, Ray.
What's up, y'all? All right, so again, like I said, I'm keeping it simple this time. If we didn't have such a wonderful lineup with this weekend, you know, we've got our conference tomorrow, NAVCon. Make sure you sign up if you haven't registered yet. You know, we want to get into the details with that and talk about our activist program. You know, tonight is very, very important. So, you know, we're going to keep it simple. But if this was a regular night, I would probably do the sweet potato pie, vegan sweet potato pie for everyone. Again, you know, the holidays coming up, you know, people are wanting to try different recipes, especially your favorite desserts. So just for y'all, because I do love y'all, I am going to post the recipe for my sweet potato pie with the recipe for these sweet potatoes on the website, okay? So I'm just going to hand that on over to y'all. And one of them is going to give the option if you want to do a spiked sweet potato pie, okay? And then the other one is just going to be for everybody, okay? All right, so again, keeping it simple. Let's just say you're doing your vegan dinner at home. You just want to keep it simple. Don't have a lot of people coming. This might be the recipe for you. Or if you're just cooking a whole bunch of stuff and you don't feel like it, or you're not cooking a whole bunch of stuff because you don't want to find the time, whatever. This is going to appeal to you because it's easy to do, okay? So we cheated a little bit tonight. So instead of getting sweet potatoes, fresh ones, and, you know, putting those in the oven and chopping them up and all that stuff, like, honey, not tonight. So we have here versus yams, okay? I know you might remember that from your childhood, which is accidentally vegan, okay? And the only thing that's in here is your sweet potatoes, water, and sugar. Before getting into the recipe, I do want to just take a little bit to talk about sugar. Sugars matter. Not all sugars are vegan. It has to do with the refining process. Now, some of your sugars, they use bone char in the filtering process for your white sugars. And whether you know it or not, your white sugars become your brown sugars. It's your white sugar plus your molasses or what have you added on there. So just be mindful when you're going in the stores just to take a look to make sure that it's vegan. They are not hard to find at all. Usually, if I was in a Giant, they had like an organic one. But in any other store, it's really not hard to find vegan. And guess what? They're the same price, okay, for the most part. Maybe give a couple cents difference in some stores, but for the most part, they are vegan. But you just want to be mindful of that because, again, some sugars are they use bone char in the process. So sometimes you might have picked some things out in the store and you're reading the labels, of course, because you want to be more health conscious of what you're putting in your body. And you might see, well, it says sugar, but I don't see that it says vegan. That's usually might be the reason because their sugar is not vegan. So just something to keep mind of. So with these, again, I use Bruce's yams. Now they're cut sweet potatoes that are in syrup, but because I like to have it with my own flavor, I usually take these and dump them out and I boil them with water to kind of get some of that syrup out because I kind of want to start from scratch, even though I'm cheating, if that makes sense. All right, now this is a 40-ounce can, and this is going to yield, if you would imagine, it's about 5 large to maybe 7.5 medium sweet potatoes worth in this can. So depending on how you're used to fixing your sweet potatoes, just be mindful of that. They also come in 15-ounce cans if you want to do a smaller serving. So I have my sweet potatoes here that I have already boiled up. And the good thing about Bruce's, again, if you want to take this shortcut around this time of year, now these are available all year round, but around this time of year, you can catch these for the low, 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 honey. Okay, they are low in the grocery store. So that's a good look if you want to take a couple shortcuts. And, nobody's going to know. Like, nobody's going to know. Okay? All right, so here are my sweet potatoes. And I'm going to show you what they look like. They may have some mushy parts in it, but for a good amount of the can, they are whole. So here's a chunk. Let me show you. See that? So there's a chunk of the smaller one. So it's primarily chunks. So, some people like their sweet potatoes on the mushy side. Some of them like a little more whole pieces. Some people like a combination of that. So it gives you the freedom to be able to make your sweet potatoes the way that you want to make them. Me personally, I don't mind a combination, but I definitely want some chunks in there. So for this, I boiled them up. Now this is a little more than 40 ounce. I did a whole nother one because when we come back, I'm going to show you a larger container so you can see like the bubbly goodness. So I'm just going to do a little sample size here. One, because I'm not sharing, but this will be the one that, like, if I'm feeling generous, somebody can have. But the other one will probably be saved for the holidays. Put them up, freeze them. You can freeze them. It's all good. All right. So again, I mentioned that I have these sweet potatoes. I did not put anything in the water as I boiled them. I just put some water in there to get some of that sugar out. And also, too, good to mention, I drained the can as well. So when I opened it, I did drain it, rinse them a little bit, and then I put it in the pot and then put some more water in there. And I didn't boil it too long. Again, like, these are cooked, so you don't need to do it for too long. Maybe get a boil on it for like 20 minutes, something like that. Just enough to make you feel comfortable. So I'm going to fill this container halfway with the sweet potatoes. And I'm chopping them up a little bit, but keeping some chunks, as you can see. Now let's get to the good stuff. All right. So there's the brown sugar. Now I use dark brown sugar because you want to have that deep color, right? But you can get light brown sugar if it's not about the color to you. Visually, for me and so many people, you like to see the orange and that like dark brown going together, you know what I mean? So for this, I use a cup of dark brown sugar. Of course, I'm not going to use all of this here because, again, this is a tiny portion. But if you are using the entire can of the 40 ounce, then that'll be what you would use. So I have the cup of dark brown sugar. And you could just do this with about a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. But honey, I don't use pumpkin pie spice like that around my household. So what I do is a little remix of that. Again, it's all about, if you don't have it, you can improvise. So what I do is just put a combination of other flavors together that will kind of mimic that. So my interpretation is I use cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice, which is probably something that you've heard before. But my little secret ingredient is also I use cloves as well. Now, again, I mentioned you're using a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. But if you don't have that, then you can use a half teaspoon of your cinnamon, a quarter teaspoon of ground nutmeg, a quarter teaspoon of your allspice, and then I put about an eighth worth of the clove. Depending on how I'm feeling, if I'm really in a clove mood or something like that, or depending what else I'm going to have on the plate, thinking about palate and spices wise. Like if I'm doing something with like, let's just say if you want to get like a tofurkey roast, and you want to have that the tofurkey ham roast, which if you haven't had it, it tastes pretty good. Something that you want to keep mindful of the flavors that you're having on your plate. So depending on what else is going to be on the plate, I might put a little more cloves so that it can accentuate with the yams, with the vegan ham. I'm ramen, I got bars. That's what I would do. So again, just to run it down to you, I have a half teaspoon of cinnamon. I have a quarter teaspoon of allspice, quarter teaspoon of nutmeg, and then just an eighth of clove. So I am going to mix those here. into my brown sugar. And then again, all measurements are based on using the 40 ounce, which is about 5 large or 7.5 medium sweet potatoes. And then I am going to take 4 ounces of unsalted butter. Now, if you remember from last month's happy hour, I mentioned that Earth Balance, which is my favorite vegan butter, they have an unsalted butter, which is great for baking. Okay, it makes the difference, y'all. It makes the difference. When I first transitioned, at the time, all Earth Balance had was ones, and I think the lowest percentage was like 5 or 7% salt. It made the difference. Like it really, I could taste it. Like it didn't taste as sweet as I wanted it to. When they came out with the unsalted butter, it changed the game. It changed the game. So I use that whenever I'm baking, and it's definitely a good look. So I have 4 ounces. Now with the Earth Balance, they come in 4 ounces as opposed to 8-ounce sticks that you might use, have been used to with conventional butter. So these are 4 ounces. So this is a whole stick of Earth Balance, which is technically a half stick. And I'm just going to mix this on in with the brown sugar mixture. And I mean, depending on how dirty you want to get your hands, I mean, you could mix this together with your fingers, but I don't want to do that because one, it's sugar and it's going to be butter and it's spices, and I don't want to be tempted to be like, nah, I don't need that. I just rather get all my calories with the finished product. I don't want to be tempted at all. But because you're going to put the butter in, you're just going to let it be like softened, almost to the point of a little bit of melted, but you don't want it completely melted because you kind of want to put a little bit of crumble effect onto it. You don't want to just spread this in as it's completely melted because it's going to go to the bottom of your cooking container. So you want to have the crumble effect with the sugar and the butter. So that way, when you're spreading it on, it's got a little bit of friction, and then when it starts to melt in the oven, it starts to harden. So it doesn't immediately go to the bottom of your cooking pan, okay? When you do use your container, you might want to just lightly grease it. You can use like either some of the vegan butter, or if you want to use a neutral oil, like a grapeseed or something like that, just to coat the edges a little bit. Go ahead and have at that. All right, so I've got this stirred up. It's got a little crumble on it. And I filled this halfway because you want to make sure you get this all throughout it, okay? I'm not just going to put this on the side. I want every little piece in here to be covered, okay? So I'm going to do a layer on the bottom half. And it's so chunky. Again, like it's not melting, like it's chunky. So again, when this gets in the oven, honey, it's going to go on real good. It's going to go on real good. And it's going to get that nice color. I'm excited. I'm excited. All right, so I'm spreading this on. And you don't need to heap it on. You just want to get just a bottom layer on there. Okay, so you just got this covered here. And then I'm going to go in with the other half and just going to put that over the top. Okay. And again, if I'm seeing like too many large chunks before I dig them out, I'm going to chop them up a little bit. Again, I like mine to have some chunks and some crumbled sweet potatoes. I like that mixture in there. I don't want to have to like seem like I have to cut up the sweet potatoes, you know. So I am going to get that good old mix in there. And you don't want to overpack it at the top of your container, because remember, you know, it's going to get the bubbling. And the last thing you want to do if you're doing any holiday cooking is have to stop in between to clean up a mess. Because honey, you know you're going to wait until dinner is finished. And then you got to go back and you got all these dishes to clean. Then you have to be like, oh my God, I got to clean my stove, my oven next. Well, nobody's got time for that. I know I don't. And I figure you probably won't either. All right, so we're good enough here. So we've got that top layer. And now we're going to go ahead and add the rest of this. and it smells delicious. It smells delicious. And honestly, like as I'm spooning it on, it definitely smells. It gives you like an aroma of like a pumpkin pie spice kind of with all those mixing together. And again, don't forget these recipes will be included online. And like I said, I will put the recipe for my sweet potato pie on there. All right, so I've got this spread on. Got a little bit of holes on the side. It doesn't have to, you don't want to spread it on like a cake because again, you want it to breathe and you want the bottom layer because you have that on there to start bubbling. You want it to breathe a little bit. So, please don't spread it on like a cake. Make sure there's everything's flat and can't breathe. You definitely want it to breathe. And so you're going to put this in the oven for about, let's say about 15 to 20 minutes on 350. You don't need to put it in there that long, just 15 to 20 minutes. Nice and good and bubbling. And then you can always eyeball it after the fact. So if you like that crunchy coating on there, I know I do. If you like that crunchy coating on there, you can just like eyeball it and leave it in there for longer until it's desired to your liking. But I guarantee you it's going to smell so good. So when we come back a little later, I'll be able to show you the finished product.
Right. Thanks so much for sharing how you prepare that. We've got lots of comments with people appreciating the tips you're sharing, especially about the vegan sugar and knowing what to look out for. So with that said, we're going to bring it back to Jamila, who's going to show us how to make some delicious sweet potato fries. You ready?
What I did, and if you do not have an air fryer, do not fret. I'm going to be using my oven. Usually I would like to use this in my air fryer, but not everyone has an air fryer. Most people do have an oven. So you can definitely heat your oven up to 425. You don't have to have it that high. I'm only doing that just because, we're in a time crunch, but yes, let's get started. Okay, great. So I already have my sweet potato here and I started chopping it up in advance. You can see my little drink. I already chopped it up in advance. And what I like to do is I like to cut up my sweet potato long ways. Long ways would be that way. You understand what I'm saying. I like to cut it up into little rounds and chop them up thinly into thin fry pieces, such as this. Nice little wedges, nice and thin, because especially if you put them into the oven, you want to make sure that they're getting all crispy and all that type of stuff. And when you make them too thick as wedges, it doesn't cook all the way through. And sometimes they can get a little soft and fall apart on you. And we want nice, firm fries. I like them a little bit crispy and firm. I don't know about y'all. Let me know in the comments, but I'm definitely a crispy fry girl. So I'm going to keep chopping up my sweet potatoes with my big old cleaver into thin straws. And however you desire your fries to be, go right ahead. You can even skillet them with a bunch of oil. But what I like to do on top of using my air fryer, as somebody who likes to avoid using a lot of oil and salt, I like to once again make them a little bit on the thinner side. So I'm not like baking them to death. So now that I've chopped up quite a few of my sweet potatoes, I'm going to take a container or a Tupperware or a bowl, whatever you have available on you. And I'm going to toss them in the container just so I can mix up all the spices, because we're not going to just put this in the oven. No. We're going to spice them up, y'all. And I'll show you just how to do that in a second. And while they're baking in the oven, after I'm done spicing them up, I'm going to show you how I make my famous aioli. And let me stop acting like it's my recipe. It really is my boo's recipe, who's also vegan. I'm very lucky about that. He created that a long time ago, a couple years ago. And it was just by chance that he made that. And it's delicious with anything really, especially Brussels sprouts. But they're very, very tasty on sweet potato fries. So once again, I chop them up nice and thin. Put my thinly sliced sweet potato fries in a container. And what I'm going to do is put a little bit of oil. I would say, once again, y'all, I'm telling you, I like to put a little bit of oil. So this is probably less than half a tablespoon. You can definitely add more. But since I usually use my air fryer, I do not have to use oil. So I got a little spoiled. So I already have my oil in there. You can also use flour if you so choose. Flour helps them be nice and coated, and they can also be crispier in the oven. But I'm not that pressed. I know that they're going to be just fine with just a seasoning. Excuse me. I'm telling you, this is a good sangria. Anyways, moving on to the spices. So I'm going to use a ton. So I'm going to start off with my garlic powder. You can never go wrong with garlic. I'm going to add at least 3 pounds of garlic to this. So I'm going to put garlic, once again, do what feels good for you, but I would say I probably added about a tablespoon maybe. Set that aside. Next is onion powder. You cannot, once again, onion powder. My trio is onion powder, garlic powder, and paprika. Excuse me, black pepper as well, and Old Bay. So I guess it's a quintuple. Either way, it's a great combo. So I have my paprika, smoked paprika. Yes, Dietrich, spice them up. You already know. And hello to everyone that just joined. So I am going to put in, yes, let's say like about a teaspoon, a little bit more of smoked paprika, just because I'm going to be adding Old Bay and I'm going to be adding Slap Your Mama. I don't need that much paprika because that's usually what these seasoning salts already have. They already have paprika, black pepper, garlic, but it doesn't hurt to add your own anyway. So I'm going to put in a little bit of Slap Your Mama. And what I like about Slap Your Mama, it's similar to Old Bay. However, I would say it's a little bit spicier. And I love it spicy. If y'all have seen our virtual happy hours in the past where I've been in it, you know that I love spicy food. So I'm going to be adding a ton of Old Bay as well because yes, you know, and even though we are a national nonprofit, a lot of us live in Baltimore and you have to have your Old Bay. I don't care what you gotta say, gotta have your Old Bay. And because I'm using Old Bay and Slap Your Mama, these seasoning salts that already have their own salt in it, I'm not going to use extra salt. As I mentioned before, I'm someone who doesn't like to add too much salt and oil to my food. And I'm going to add a lot of red pepper. I don't care if the Slap Your Mama was spicy already. Let's make it spicier. And of course, you can omit that step. That's not for everybody. And I also like to use liquid smoke, y'all. Come on. I know I already used smacked paprika. Even though I already used smoked paprika, the smokier the better in my opinion. It just enhances the savoriness. I know y'all understand what I'm talking about. And of course, some black pepper, just a little bit. And I probably overspice them, but is there ever such thing as overspicing food? I think not. And I don't have a special pumpkin spice. I love that Ray has her own special pumpkin spice recipe, but I have something similar. I had this pumpkin spice that I found in my pantry. I probably haven't used it since maybe last fall, but 'tis the season. So I'm definitely going to be using a tad bit of pumpkin spice. And most of the time, I will also just use cinnamon, maybe cumin. But today is the day we're going to use a little bit of pumpkin spice on our savory sweet potato fries. So now what I'm going to do is close the lid. This is what I like to do to season things in its entirety when I want things to be completely mixed up and I know that I'm not going to want to use my hands. I have nails on, not trying to do all that. So I'm going to close the lid nice and tight. I already have my oil, which is a great binding agent, and also the liquid smoke. And I'm going to have to shake these up and I'm getting kind of nervous because this lid is not closing on very tightly, but we'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll get it down packed. So I'm just going to shake. I'm going to shake, make sure everything is evenly distributed. And usually I like to turn it over to mix it up, but I'm kind of nervous because I see here that some of the spices are falling out. So just once again, we're just going to use our imagination. Flipping it out upside down also really helps to make sure that everything is evenly coated. So I'm just going to keep shaking. I'm just going to get to your comments as I'm shaking. Oh yes, Old Bay all the way. I love it. Yes, definitely a good coat. Oh, nice yuca fries. Yuca fries are definitely very tasty. Absolutely. Liquid smoke, you can never go wrong. You can never go wrong. And especially since I'm someone who also likes to use a lot of barbecue sauce, I usually like to dip my sweet potato fries in barbecue sauce. But I want to show y'all my aioli, and I'll get to that in just a second. And thank you for the comments, y'all. I'm glad that y'all feel me. So now that I'm done shaking everything, okay. So as you can see right here, first of all, this smells so good. I can already tell this is going to be fantastic. They're nice and evenly coated. It doesn't seem like it because most of the spices are kind of on the orangey red side. And as sweet potatoes are, you already know, are pretty orange. So I shook this all in and they look good to me. I'm not going to lie. So on the temperature for the air fryer, Karen Miller, great question. I usually put it on, I haven't air fried them in a while. I would say that I probably put them on for less than 400 degrees in the air fryer because I don't mind them taking a while. But once you know, as you know, air fryers don't take that long. So I would say about 400, maybe 380 minimum. But for my oven here, I definitely have it on 425. I usually probably have it on 400 or 375, but today we're trying to save time, so I'm just going to put it on 425, maybe 450 if you like them blackened, but we want them to be nice and crispy, not charred up. So now that I've shaken up all my sweet potato fries to make sure that they're nice and spicy, I'm going to put them on a nice baking sheet of parchment paper. And the reason why I like to use parchment paper instead of aluminum foil, nothing wrong with that. I just don't want to use extra oil in my dish. So once again, I like to omit that step and just skip that step and just go straight to putting the fries on parchment paper. Because as you know, with parchment paper, it just bakes straight up that way, which I absolutely love about it. So making sure I'm scraping off all of the spices as well and placing them on my baking sheet evenly. And excuse my use of a knife. That is probably not the proper way to use a knife. So how about I use my fingers? And I'm just going to have them go side by side, just so they have a little bit of space to bake. And I mean, it doesn't have to be pretty. Whatever order you feel, go right ahead. I just want to make sure that they have enough space. Luckily, I have a bigger pan here. And put them right in a good order. And I see some of the spices are nice and clumping together right on the sweet potatoes. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Okay, great. So I'll put this in my oven now and we'll move on to the aioli. So as I put this in the oven, I'll probably put this on the middle sheet and I will definitely put this in here for about 25 minutes, which is actually not that long if you think about it. I usually like to accompany my sweet potato fries with some tempeh or Brussels sprouts. Maybe if I make myself a nice burger, maybe just on their own as a snack. Anything could really go with sweet potato fries. Okay, great. So now they're on my baking sheet and I'll put them in my oven for 25 minutes. Okay. And now,
Jamila? Okay. Yeah, as you're putting those in the oven, would it be a good time to break and then you can show how to make the aioli when the fries come out?
Absolutely. Let's do that.
Okay, perfect. All right, I will bring everybody back up on screen now.
Awesome.
Hey, all these recipes are looking awesome so far. Oh, can everybody hear? Is everybody there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yep. Sorry, I'm just setting my kitchen timer.
I'm glad I caught it enough because I was about to, trying to clean up a little bit. And I was about to take a little spoonful of this.
Yes, that's the same, Ray. I haven't tasted mine yet, but I do have the spoon that I was scraping down the sides, and I have not licked it. I'm trying to wait, so we shall see.
Yes.
It's like the best part.
Yes.
And it's hard to wait too. I mean, it's like good on everybody for waiting to the end so you can do the vicarious taste test together.
Absolutely.
So we're about halfway through our virtual happy hours for the night. So I wanted to come back so we could do a little bit more trivia. We should have some of our alumni from the activist training program joining us soon. So we want to bring them up just to talk to them a little bit about where they are, the work they're doing, and a little bit about their experience with the program. But also, I have neglected to announce what the giveaway is for today. So I was like, we need to do that pronto.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring an image on screen. Today, speaking of air fryers, Jamila, we are giving away a Ninja air fryer in coordination with the kickoff for NAVCon 2022. And so in order to enter this giveaway, all you need to do is register for the NAVCon Virtual Summit. We will share that link in just 1 second, again in the chat. But you could also just go to afrovegansociety.org right now, and the registration link is on the homepage. And then, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, go ahead and leave a comment just with the name of a Black vegan who inspires you and why. It doesn't have to be really long, but name a Black vegan who inspires you and why. And use the hashtag NAVCon 2022 in your comment. And we will randomly select a winner at the end of this broadcast. So we're so excited to have this giveaway for y'all. We have 2 more giveaways that we're going to be doing live during NAVCon tomorrow. So this is just one of 3 chances to win. But we hope you all enter this evening and try your hand at winning a air fryer today. So back to us.
Awesome.
All right.
Love it.
That is so exciting.
Yeah.
I love
Nice.
that.
Air fryers are awesome, y'all. Like air fryers are so helpful. You can cook anything in them. Anything.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Such an
Jamila, you mentioned the parchment paper. I love the parchment paper. I actually got some parchment inserts. They kind of look like coffee filters, but they're like the individual ones, and they just slide in there, and you just throw them in there. Amazing.
So easy. Yeah, I love those. I haven't invested in any yet, but I'm like, that's a smart invention. Like, I need
Right?
to get that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was very
Oh, and we have a question about the giveaway. Linda, if you're already registered, then all you need to do is comment and say a Black vegan who inspires you and use hashtag NAVCon 2022. If you're already registered, you're halfway there
Mhm.
to being entered to win this prize. Okay, so I think it's a good time to go into another round of Black vegan trivia. So, Jasmine, do you want to kick it off with another question for us?
I'm still salty at Jasmine for the last.
Yes, she got us.
Those were 2.
I know I had to say when I was coming with the questions, at first they were a little on the easier side. And I was looking at Jess, I was like, oh, Jess is like one of those professors where they put all the information in the question and you're like, oh, geez, this is what I studied. So I was like, I got to go a little bit harder. All right. So my second trivia question is, Queen Afaa is a New York Times bestselling author, holistic health practitioner, and wellness coach, and a pioneer in the green foods movement. What year did she start her path to wellness? Is it A, 1969, B, 1955, C, 1972, or D, 1980?
And I missed the name again, Jazz. I'm sorry.
Queen Afaa?
Oh, okay.
Oh my God. Okay.
How many years did I watch again? I do have sacred woman. I can't run upstairs and go get my sacred woman.
All right. So my question again is, what year did she start her wellness or her path to wellness? And the answers are A, 1969, B, 1955, C, 1972, or D, 1980.
As I said before, I'm gonna have to go to the 70s. I don't know her very, very well, but she seems like someone who's always been very in tune for a long, long time, just like Dick Gregory and all those other like pioneers. So I definitely feel the 70s when it comes to her.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking along the same lines. The 80s failed me last time, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do that too.
Yes.
Okay.
80s killed a lot of us, child.
I need to buy time, so I'm going to share some guesses from our viewers. Okay, so let's see. Lita Logical thinks 1980.
Okay.
Dietrich Resch thinks 1969. Let's see what other guesses we got. Deborah Morshow thinks 1972. So we got some more 70s guesses. Bernadette Session thinks 1979. I'm just going to pull it out of the hat. I'm going 1979 as well.
Okay.
How about you, Ray? Trust your instinct.
I feel like I want to be in the 70s because I do remember her saying that she studied. I can't remember she studied under Dick Gregory. I feel like she did study under Dick Gregory. So that would put me later. What was the 1980 year again?
Just 1980 flat.
Okay.
I'm between the late 70 and the 80. I'm between those two.
Ray, you're guessing like you got money on this.
I don't know, like I should remember it because I do study from the Sacred Woman book a lot, but that's not one of the things like I'm trying to remember. Like I'm getting to the content, like fulfill me with the information. Like when you started, it's fine. I don't care about that. Like give me everything else. So I'm just trying to remember. Like I feel like this is something that I should know, but I don't know. I'm between those two.
All right, Jasmine, we're ready for you to let us know.
Jess, what's your answer, Jess?
Who, me?
Uh-huh.
I thought I picked 1972.
Okay, you did. All right, so the answer is A, 1969. So it's sort of like 1970, but this was sort of like early on in her journey. So she actually started her wellness journey in 1969 early on because it was a response to her chronic asthma and some other health issues. Like you said, Ray, she was inspired by Dick Gregory. So yeah, 1969 is what started her, and she really got into like teaching and wellness and trying to help other people along in their journey. So she wrote the book Sacred Woman and Heal Thyself. So
for any men that are on here as well, or if you are wanting to check out her information and also share with your family, her son, Supernova Slom, SUPANOVA SLOM, he has one for men. So obviously he trained under his mom and everything. So he does have one for men. So you might want to get that for any men in your family too, if you want to read, have your men and your women readings.
Oh, that's awesome, Ray. And
I
honestly,
that book. Yeah.
I remember reading Heal Thyself, the beginning of my vegan journey almost 10 years ago. And it just brought back to me now. I almost forgot. So that just brings back so many memories. Oh,
yeah. Same with me, Jamila. That was one of the books I started off with, in addition to like Sister Vegan. I'm like, it's like the trio.
The trio, exactly. Yeah. I love it.
That's awesome. So we have another trivia question, but I do see some of the alumni from our activist training program starting to join. So I'm going to bring you on so you can participate in our next trivia question, if that sounds good. So I see Shay is here. Hi, Shay.
Hey, Shay.
It's good to see all of you.
Yes, so Shay was a participant in our activist training program, the first ever round of our activist training program. And we just wrapped our final session last Saturday. So we're so excited you could join us. We invited a few more folks, but if not, we're still going to give you a little bit of space to talk about who you are, where you're from, and the work that you are striving to do in your community. But before we get into that, I have a trivia question. So let's go. Wait, let me find the doc now. Okay. Okay, here's my question. This is a simple one, but numbers are tricky. So we'll see how many people can get it. Okay. What percentage of African Americans are vegan? Okay, so here are your options. A, 12%, B, 3%, C, 20%, or D, 8%. All right.
I want to say 20. I really, really do. But I feel like I read somewhere that there was 12%.
Yeah, I was going to go with 12 too.
Yeah.
That was my guess. Yeah.
I'm going to go with 12 as well because I think we're growing slowly but surely.
Yeah.
I think I have to say the same thing. 20 sounds amazing to me, but I'm feeling like it's 12. We're coming, but we're not there yet. So I think 12 also.
Okay, let's see what comments we have in the chat. We have 8%, we have 12%, another 12%, 8%. C, I don't remember what C is now, but 20% I think was C. We got 8, and Paige is saying 20. Let's see. Oh, Linda is also saying 20. Okay, so yes, that is the goal. The answer is, in fact, 8%. So while African Americans are the largest group of vegans in the United States, according to a Pew Research study, 8% of African Americans identify as vegan or vegetarian compared to just 3% of the general population. So while we're still under 10%, we are significantly higher than the general population. But a big part of our goal is to do work to inform and empower people to be able to make vegan living sustainable and accessible in all kinds of communities across the country. And so I feel like an extension of that mission is with the activist training program we just ran. So we have some more of our participants joining. All right, so hi, Caitlin.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
All right. And Brandy, I see you've joined backstage. So as soon as you turn on your camera, we will be able to bring you up on screen as well. So basically, we just want to give you the floor just to talk for a couple minutes about who you are, where you're from, what inspired you to join the activist training program, and then what initiatives are you hoping to bring to your community? So Shay, do you mind getting us started?
Sure, happy to. Again, hello everybody. First of all, just want to give a huge thanks to the AVS team. This is one of the most amazing experiences I've had. We learned so much. I mean, I thought I knew about all things vegan, but I quickly learned I did not. And AVS did an amazing job of helping me get very much prepared for doing things in community. So I am a health coach. I'm originally from Houston, Texas, living now on the East Coast. And I'm really excited to be able to take what I learned into community. My interest is to focus on women of color, especially those between the ages of 20 to 50 years old, and just be able to talk to people about how to easily incorporate veganism into their daily lives, especially for folks who are taking a path of fitness or wellness. We talk about self-care all the time, but I'm learning and really adopting to the fact that if we're not taking care of our insides, how can we perform better on the outside as well? So really excited to bring this work to communities, and not just on the East Coast where I am, but also being able to establish virtual opportunities so that we can spread this information as far and as wide as we possibly can. So again, this was an awesome experience. We learned so much. We were able to grow and not just talk about veganism from the aspect of don't eat this or you shouldn't eat that, but actually the culture of being Black and vegan and why this is actually life-saving information that we're giving folks. So I really walked away from the program with a deeper perspective and even more love for this work that we are wanting to do. So amazing program, amazing work that's going to happen, that's going to come out from the alumni of this program, and just excited and again grateful to AVS for the activist training program, and not just that, for all the work that's being done. So thanks to everybody for tuning in with us tonight.
Thank you, Shay. It was so wonderful to have you in our group. We really enjoyed the contributions you made, and you just brought great energy every time we interacted with you. So it's been so great to get to know you, and we look forward to working with you further. All right, now I'm going to bring up Caitlin. Caitlin, are you ready to take the screen? Let's see.
All right. Hi, everybody. So my name is Caitlin Mercier. I'm an assistant professor at Illinois State. My research interest mainly focuses in looking at the impact of anti-vegetarian stigma. And where I'd like to go with that is looking at Black vegans and how are Black vegans resisting like racism through being vegan. And so I just have to say, like, I really appreciated this program. And this is like a great group of leaders who really just helped me like learn more about veganism. Much like Shay, I thought I knew everything about veganism, but like going through this program, it helped me learn a lot more. And then also like learning even further, like the history of like veganism and Black culture. And so what I hope to do with my research is to show like other Black folks that there are Black folks who are vegans, and it's not just like a white thing. It's really for all of us. So I'm super duper excited to take what I've learned from this program and apply it to my research, and also like give off that information to like other Black folks as well as like other researchers of color too. So like really thank y'all so much. I'm deeply appreciative of like y'all's opportunity. And a great group of alumni. I'm so excited to see what they're going to be doing in the future and continuing to connect with them too. So thank y'all for this opportunity, and thank everybody for tuning into this.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin. We're so excited to see how your work comes to light, and we're happy to be able to support you as well. So yes, we're so glad you both were able to join us this evening. These are just 2 of our participants. We had a cohort of 12 for our first ever round, and we're planning to offer this program again in 2023. It's still evolving, but their input has been so helpful as we designed the program. We kind of designed the program as we went through it with them. You know, we are the AVS team were the instructors for the program, and their feedback has been so enlightening in how we can improve it and make it better for even more people so that people can touch their communities in all these different ways and strategies. Because activism doesn't look like one thing, veganism doesn't look like one thing, Blackness doesn't look like one thing. There's diversity in all those aspects. So we're just happy to see this being expressed and demonstrated so many different ways. So thank you both. All right. Do y'all want to hang around for 2 more trivia questions with us?
Yes.
Okay. Jamila, you ready to share your next trivia question?
Yes, I'm ready.
I was like, oh, I got a question. I was like,
okay. So my next question is, in 1969, which initiative did the Black Panther Party establish? Is it A, the Free Breakfast for Children program, B, Black Food Policy Initiative, C, Justice Coalition for Black Empowerment, or D, Panther Care, Emergency Food Response?
ooh, I know it's A, right? I know it's A.
Wait, can I ask
A.
a question? Can I ask a question, Jasmine? How many of these did you make up?
This.
Are these all real? How many? Because these sound real. These all sound very real. And I'm like, did they do all of this?
Walter made some of them.
Ray, you still salty. I'll wait to tell you once everybody answers roll in.
Okay, well, I'm going to share some comments, and we can continue to guess as well. But Bernadette thinks the free breakfast program A, as does Dietrich, as does Nana, and Paige thinks Panther Care. I'm going to go with A also. I feel confident about that, but those other ones sound very convincing.
Anybody else got any answers?
I'm with A, although I do feel like their work encompassed a lot of the other answers that you said. So yeah, I'm going to stick with A.
Definitely. Well, y'all got it. I did not fool y'all. It is A. So once again, the Free Breakfast for Children program was run by the Black Panther Party. It was sort of like a community service program created to address hunger and poverty in the Black community. While this program was not a vegan program, a lot of people in the Black Panther movement were vegan and vegetarian because those ideals aligned with, the nonviolent, which we see in, veganism.
So, that's a great question. Also very enlightening, and also a great example of what community-based activism looks like as people are seeking ways to impact their communities and serve the needs of the people. So
absolutely.
Definitely.
Awesome. Okay, so I have a question here for everyone. I feel like we've seen this name starting to circulate already in some of the entries for the giveaway, which we'll get back to after this question. But with that said, my question is, which comedian became vegetarian in 1965 based on the philosophy of nonviolence practiced during the civil rights movement, which he extended to the treatment of animals? Okay. Y'all, that was wordy for me to say. So did y'all capture the question?
Can you repeat it?
Okay. Which comedian became vegetarian in 1965 based on the philosophy of nonviolence practiced during the civil rights movement, which he extended to the treatment of animals? Okay, so he became a vegetarian in 1965 as an extension of his nonviolence practice during the civil rights movement. The options are A, Eddie Murphy, B, Dick Gregory, C, Red Fox, or D, Richard Pryor.
I say Dick Gregory.
Yeah, B for me.
Me too.
It's gonna be it. First of all, Red Fox. Eddie Murphy.
You know what's funny? And I'm telling my age a little bit. When you said Eddie
Yeah,
Murphy,
Father Gregory for sure.
I was like,
That's my vote.
when I said when I heard Eddie Murphy, I was thinking back to his comedic special Raw. I'm dating myself a little bit. And one of the things like, I got McDonald's food. I was like, you can't do
Little leather jacket.
Okay, I think, yeah, that one, I feel like Dick Gregory is a legend in the vegan movement. He is a legendary Black vegan. And yes, the answer is obviously B, Dick Gregory. And he went on to become one of the most influential vegan activists in the country. And he wrote Dick Gregory's Natural Diet for Folks Who Eat, Cooking with Mother Nature with Alvenia Fulton from the first question back in 1974. So they co-wrote that book together, and it is so hard to find. I tried to find that book. It's expensive. It's not in print. Like, if you have that, you have a piece of history in your hand. So yes, we appreciate the forefathers who laid the groundwork for the movement that we see today, and Dick Gregory is definitely one of those people.
Absolutely. And Jess, you can actually find that book, even though it's like the updated version in like your local library. So like I was able to go to like the Enid Pratt Library, which is the local free library in Baltimore, and get a copy of it. So
okay, that's awesome. That's great to know. I very much grew up in the libraries. It's just a great free resource, and I have not taken advantage of it nearly as much as I should as an adult. So thank you for that reminder that I need to go to the library. All right. Well, thank you everyone for participating in our second round of trivia. We enjoyed having you so much with us, and we'll definitely be in touch with y'all soon. Everyone in the comments, please thank Caitlin and Shay for joining us, and look out for big things from them very soon.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. See you later.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So Jess might be having some technical difficulties, but I think it's time to get back to the food. So we will add her back into the stream once everyone's ready. So Ray, are you ready? Not quite.
I can be, but I get a couple minutes. Jamila, how you looking on your fries?
They're basically burnt, so they're ready. You can still check on them though, because I got the aioli.
When I heard 425, I was like, okay.
I forgot to check. I was so immersed with all the trivia questions.
Jamila, don't feel bad. Last week when I did my pumpkin recipe, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do some pumpkin seeds, and I just threw them in there because pumpkins need to be like a little higher, and it was smelling good, and I'm like, oh yeah, these gonna be some nice old bay seeds and pumpkin seeds. I looked in there, they were all burnt. It was
Nuts and seeds will definitely do it to you too. You turn your like avocados, you turn your head, and then like, I'm checking out.
Yes.
Wait, Jamila, wait. Look, comment for you. Lita says, sangria.
I know that sangria is all gone.
First of all, I think Lita was saying Jamila's enjoying her sangria. I sure am. It's Friday.
Oh my goodness.
I'm good.
All right, so do you want to show us how you make your aioli then, Jamila?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Take it away.
Wonderful. So I would love to show you the fries, but I'm embarrassed. So let's go right to the aioli. Perfect. So what I like to do, I already have my spices right here. And I have my mayo. You can use any type of vegan mayo. A lot of like grocery stores sometimes have their own brand, but I just have some Follow Your Heart mayo. It's pretty accessible. I don't want to say it's the most affordable, but it was the closest one I could find for this recipe. I always have sriracha, mostly because I love like the tangy flavor of sriracha. It's just always so good on everything. But it's also for the color, because when you're making an aioli, it doesn't have to be completely stark white, But do you want it to be stark white all the time? That's basically just mayo. So I have my mayo and my sriracha as a base. I'm going to put it in a little container because I already have a bigger container of aioli that me and my boo make all the time. So I'm just going to make a small bit right here today, but you can make a larger portion if you so choose. So I have mayo, sriracha, and what I'm going to do here is add a little bit of a scoop of the mayo. And I would probably say when I make a larger portion of my aioli, it's so funny because we call it aioli as if like aioli just means like the sauce, but like we don't have a specific flavor. But I would say if you could describe the flavor, it's more like a chipotle mayo, but a little bit more on the tangier side. So I have my scoop of mayo, and usually I'll probably put about a cup or so in when I'm making a larger portion. So I'm going to just use a little bit more. So I would say this is about a little over 2 tablespoons right here. Set that aside. And then I put in, the sriracha does squirt. Oh no, it got everywhere, but that is A-okay. I'm going to clean up afterwards anyway. So I just squirt as much as I feel of the sriracha. And as y'all already know, I like it spicy. So I add in more than the typical amount. And I'm going to also add in my spices. And the thing is, my spices are going to be very, very similar to what I did for the sweet potato fries. Of course, you already know the essentials. The essentials I'm going to have, once again, if you haven't seen already, hello to everyone that just joined. If not, I have my black pepper. I have my smoked paprika. I have my garlic powder, my onion powder. And we don't really use Old Bay in the aioli, but we always use a little bit of Slap Your Mama. At least I think so. Once again, my boo is the one who usually makes this. Of course, the red pepper, once again. Yes. Oh, opt out. Okay, you understand the taste of this aioli? Wonderful. I'm glad you feel me on this. But then the ingredients that make it different are the herbs. And I'm going to always use dill weed. And I'm going to also use parsley. And that's what really gives this a very creamy taste, almost like ranch. There's always a very like an undertone of just zest. I would say that. You can also add some lemon zest or lemon juice if that's what you so choose. But I'm just going to also just add the dill weed and the parsley to give it that creamy taste. So let's start with the onion. I'm not going to go in any particular order. I'm just going to grab what's closest to me and set aside. So onion powder, garlic powder. You can add as much as you want. I'm probably adding a little too much, but once again, is there ever such thing as overspicing food? Like, let's be real here. And since the sauces already have their own salt, I don't have to add any salt. So I have some paprika here. And I'm glad that y'all feel me. Yes, absolutely. Sriracha's great. I'm glad that y'all understand the dill because dill really makes everything great. And great, Dietrich, you're going to make this tomorrow. So good to hear. And once again, everyone, if you haven't signed up for NAVCon, that's happening tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time, do so already. The link is in the comments, and we would love to see you there. Okay, great. So I put the black pepper, the smoked paprika, all that type of stuff. Adding in my red pepper. Okay, just a little more. Okay, great. And now my parsley and my dill. And I also love, love, love parsley and dill whenever I make like my own egg salad. This is basically the base of what I use for my chickpea salad and my egg salad, which is basically just firm tofu, the egg salad. And it is so good, y'all. Very, very good. I actually have my egg salad right here. I was nibbling on it a little bit earlier just in case I was going to get hungry during this happy hour. But luckily, I have some delicious food nearby. It might be a little blackened, but it's still delicious. So just put in a bunch of dill for extra zest. So this is what it looks like. Just basically a whole variety of beautiful colors. And I'm going to mix, 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 stir, stir, stir until it looks like aioli. Because we all know that aioli or a sauce that's dippable looking is always kind of orange. It always has that chipotle mayo type look. I love that look. I love chipotle mayo. It's obviously vegan, but it is so, so good. And I'm just stirring until everything's evenly distributed, making sure that there are no more spices on the spoon, that it looks nice and creamy and zesty. And I am liking what I'm seeing so far, y'all. Perfect. Okay. Oh my God, I love Crystal Moore says, like Tabitha Brown would say, because that's your business. Absolutely, absolutely. And Crystal, also, you could definitely use turmeric for color. I also use turmeric in my my egg salad to make it more yellow and have that egg color. I also use nutritional yeast to have that color as well, and to have that that, I don't want to say bitter bite, but that cheesy bite that egg salad probably would have traditionally. So great question. Thank you, Lita. Yeah, this honestly, this looks so good to me. Like, it's a little on the chunkier side, probably because of the all the spices I added, but it's definitely going to be great at the end. And Opt Out says, what do you think about black salt? Black salt, I haven't heard anything bad about it, but that's really good because it gives you that sulfuric taste in egg salad or vegan egg salad that you could get, the deviled egg taste, the egg salad taste, that sulfuric, like smelly type of smell that you would get from traditional eggs. So I think black salt is really cool. I believe it's called malak, something like that. I haven't used it before, but I heard it's really, really good. So I mixed it all the way up, y'all. And it is, excuse the lighting, I have a bunch of lights around me. But yes, it is definitely an aioli. Perfect. So let me take a few of the non-damaged fries and try some with y'all. Excuse me for 1 second. Okay. All right. Okay. These are, there you go. Bernadette Session, thank you so much. Kala Namak. I love that. Okay, so I'm taking this fry. It's going to be good regardless, y'all. Dipping it in. Yes. It is a yes for me. Very, very good. You know, you can definitely snack on this. You can eat this. I like to eat my aioli with vegetables because, you know, sometimes vegetables are great. We have to have our vegetables, our minerals. But, you know, you want to jazz it up a little bit. And that's what this aioli is all about. We love to use it with our Brussels sprouts. We like to use it with tempeh. We like to eat it with sometimes broccoli, stir fries. So you can never go wrong with something like this. Just a little bit on the side. It'll amp up your vegetables definitely. So yes, got my aioli and got my sweet potato fries. Yum. Linda asked, if you don't have vegan mayo, can you use vegan yogurt? You know what? I would say so. I would say use a plain unsweetened yogurt. You know, not vanilla, not anything like that. I think that'll definitely suffice. So definitely do not fret if you don't have vegan mayo. I'm sure there are other options just like vegan yogurt. Great question.
Thank you so much for sharing, Jamila. That sauce looks super tasty. Jess, are you ready to come on and show us how your sweet potato dip turned out? Just give me a thumbs up and I can bring you on. All right.
There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to me. So, in case you're just joining or just for a refresher, I'm going to give you a rundown of what I'm making. So, I am making a sweet potato dip, a hummus-inspired sweet potato dip. But why are we not calling it sweet potato hummus, you may ask? So, apparently, hummus actually means chickpeas in Arabic. So, that sounds kind of funny, right? You know? So, we're making our sweet potato dip. So, what I did was I took a whole sweet potato and some garlic, and I roasted that in the oven on 375. I sprinkled all the spices that I'm using on top, as well as salt and pepper. So in here, and then we blended it. So in here, I have cumin, smoked paprika, salt, pepper, olive oil, tahini, and a squeeze of lime from half of one. Okay, so we blended it all up to the consistency of your liking. I like my sweet potato dip pretty thick, so we're gonna leave it at this consistency. But if you want it thinner, You can go ahead and thin it out with, I'd say, a tablespoon of water at a time as you're blending. If you don't have a blender, you could use a food processor, but in this case, we blended it. So I'm going to go ahead and plate. So here's what it looks like. Looks really, really good. And we have all the yummy spices in there that are traditional to hummus, the tahini, the cumin, the smoked paprika. So yeah. And you know, it really smells like it. It has that same smell that you get from hummus. So I'm going to plate it up, and then I'm going to show you what I'm serving it with. The same stuff you would do with any other hummus that you have. You could use pita, you could use veggies. In my case, I roasted some pita in the oven. And I'm going to garnish with some pumpkin seeds. Now you could use sesame seeds if you'd like. Something really good would be like some spiced nuts on top. Just chop them up, and you could add them on top of your dish for garnish. So I'm just putting it here in a bowl. And oh my gosh, the texture, it just feels so creamy. So yes. Oh, and also, while I was roasting the sweet potato and the garlic in the oven, I also added the same spices that I blended it up with in the blender. You know, just trying to layer our flavors here. But just a sprinkle. Just like a little, you know, I pinched it, just a sprinkle, a pinch of the spices. All right, so it's looking so good. So over here, I'm going to show you, I roasted some pita and some pumpkin seeds. So I have my pita bread here. And on the side of that are just some pumpkin seeds that I chopped up. And we're going to use that for our garnish. So before I do that, I'm also going to add just a little bit of olive oil. This is optional. I'm going to add a splash on top, just a little swirl. Hummus sometimes comes like that, and our sweet potato dip will as well. And I'm also going to put a little bit of smoked paprika on top for color. And you know, that smoke is good, but it also makes it pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and plate my pita with it. And I'm so excited for this because, I mean, it's just like hummus, but with a spin. And the sweet potatoes are so festive for the season. So I have my pumpkin seeds here that I'm just going to put on top for garnish. And y'all, this was so simple. All you do is roast the sweet potato and the garlic for about 30 minutes until it's fork tender. Blend it up in a blender or a food processor. Add your seasoning and your spices. And there you have it. Give you a look. Look at that. Our sweet potato dip with my pita. Oh, I can't wait.
Looks delicious, man. Love it.
Yes, it smells so good. You can really smell that tahini and the cumin. So fragrant.
Yes.
That looks great, Jess. And now we're excited to see Ray's quick and easy candy sweet potatoes. So we're bringing it back to you, Ray.
Yeah.
All right. Well, real quick, y'all, I just wanted to show y'all the mention of black salt was a few minutes ago. So I just want to show you it literally is black. You can get this from a number of places. I got this from Amazon. Before I transitioned, I didn't like eggs. So I bought that because my fiance and his son, they do. So when they have their just egg, we use that in there, or well, they use that in there because I don't partake. But even if you don't want to buy like a large amount of spices, just remember, you know, some stores like if you have like a Mom's Organic or something like that, they have those small spice sections where you can go just get a little bit and, you know, just as much as you need, a pinch or, you know, a couple tablespoons or teaspoons, whatever you need. And then you can save money so you won't have like a big container of something that you don't really use. So remember, you know, you do have options when you want to, especially if you're experimenting and you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, you know, I just want to experiment with a spice in a recipe. So you do have options when you're trying out those things. So yeah, just wanted to show you that because I did have it on hand. All right, so let me show y'all what we got here. Now, remember, I did do two separate ones, okay? When I tasted the larger one that I had put in the oven beforehand, you know when you taste something and then you immediately get like the I'm gonna fight myself face? Like that's what I had. It was just like if I had a mirror, I might have like bucked on myself or something because it was like that good. It was definitely that good. And remember how I mentioned the double layer? So I want to show you. Can you see that dimension in there? So you've got your top and then you've got your bottom. And this one I intentionally made. I made it a little crisp so I can get that little crisp on there. You hear that? So I can get that little hard crummy one at the top. But yeah, you can see the dimensions on there. So no matter how deep you're going into the dish, you're still going to get that mix of the sugar and the spices on there. But let me also show you what the one I put in while you were watching me cook. So here, you see that? See how that's distributed well throughout? Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. So yeah, like I made the executive decision that like I'm not freezing this. It's not. I might freeze this one, to hold over for the next 2 weeks. To pull out in 2 weeks. But this one right here, we eating this week. Yeah, because it's just that good. I like sweet potatoes, but I usually don't make like the candy sweet potatoes throughout the year. Some things you just like to reserve for specific seasons or whatever. So I usually like just roast them throughout the year. But this is my first taste of this for this year. So yeah, child. When we get off of this, I'm going to get this plate full of just this, and that's probably going to be dinner. So don't judge. I promise you. I had this little sugar still sitting here, y'all, but this was so good. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and wash this out. And this is going to be all the sweets I need for the evening. I promise y'all. But yeah, so there you have it. And again, don't forget, the recipe will be online along with the sweet potato pie recipe. So thank you.
Ray, we're coming back in just a second, but that looks so good. You know what it reminds me of? Like it kind of looks like cinnamon roll filling.
Mm-hmm.
Or it also kind of looks like monkey bread. So yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah, it's like some type of strudel.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, Jess, you've waited. Now, Jess, tell us how the dip is. People want to know.
I didn't even taste it. Okay, so once again, here's my sweet potato dip. So on top, I have some roasted pumpkin seeds, a drizzle of olive oil, and some smoked paprika for garnish. Toasted some pita in the oven, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. I'm so excited. Wow. Okay.
Is it sweet or savory?
Is
it sweet or savory? We want to know.
It's a combination.
Okay.
We didn't add any sugar, so of course it's just from the sweet potatoes. Mm-hmm. But the tahini comes through, and so does like the cumin and the paprika, the smoked paprika. So it's really good. Yes, I would definitely try making this and using sweet potato in place of chickpeas. So it's really yummy.
Awesome. I'm just like listening to the crunch of the pita. I'm like, ooh.
Really good.
I've definitely gotten some new ideas for things to do with sweet potatoes from watching you all today. So if everyone has been enjoying Ray, Jamila, and Jess's recipes, please give this video a like. Thank them in the comments. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers on YouTube if you're watching there. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and show some love to Jess, Ray, and Jamila. Thank you for sharing all these recipes this evening. I also want to remind folks one more time, we're coming to the close or beginning to close out our happy hour. So there's still time to enter our air fryer giveaway. So if you're interested in entering, go ahead and register for the NAVCon Virtual Summit if you haven't already. If you're already registered, half the work is done. And then go ahead and leave a comment in the chat letting us know who is a Black vegan who inspires you and why. And use NAVCon 2022 in your comment. And this is just one of 3 prizes we'll be giving out. We'll be doing 2 more giveaways during the live NAVCon Virtual Summit tomorrow. So please enter before we wrap it on up today. And let me see. Okay, yes, and folks are showing you love in the comments. So let's bring this up. Crystal Morris says, yes, I love that sweet potato dish. Which one, Crystal? They all look good, though. Lita says, thanks, ladies. Awesome as always. Can't wait to try these. Bernadette says, thank y'all so much, sisters. So we've got lots of love in the comments. Those are just a few comments that folks shared. Okay, so I think with that said, we can do our last round of trivia. Jasmine, are you ready?
Yes, so I actually have 2 more questions. I know we're only supposed to do 4. So do y'all want to pick your fate or do y'all want to do both questions?
Do both. Yeah, let's do both.
Okay. All right. So the first one we have here is Alfred Bauman, also known as Dr. Sebi, founded the Usha Village in the early 1990s and is now called the Usha Herbal Research Institute, which is what is the primary vision of this organization? Is it A, to advance the scientific understanding of the fundamental factors governing disease within the human body? B, to heal the nation and heal the body of disease through an alkaline diet? C, improve the quality of life through 3 pillars: professionalism, trajectory, and legacy? Or D, to provide access to information regarding herbs and foods that will assist the body in achieving balance?
Whatever the alkaline one was, that
I
one.
would say, yeah. Alkaline sounds like keyword.
And heal the body of disease through an alkaline diet.
That's it.
That's what I say too.
B, and we got some more. We got some more in the comments. We got B.
Everybody know. Everybody know.
Oh, and y'all all are wrong.
It's A. It's A. It's A. Is it A?
It's not A.
What is it?
So this one you actually had to go to the website. It wasn't like you hearing like all these terms like alkaline and those are things you associate with Dr. Sebi, but it's really website specific. So it's actually C, to improve the quality of life through 3 pillars: professionalism, trajectory, and legacy. And since Dr. Sebi passed on, his daughter is actually the one that's running the institution now.
Okay.
Wow.
Yep.
Those are some really, man, I would be messing up your tests if you were my teacher. Jasmine, the big upset. No, that's okay. I would have never guessed that though. Honestly, when you said that one, I was like, definitely not that one. That's what I thought about.
Right.
Okay, interesting.
I would never have guessed. Honestly, I'm not saying I stopped listening, but once you said alkaline, I was like, all right, nothing else.
Right? And that's how to get you in school. That is exactly how to get you in school.
I know.
You've been hurt in school, haven't you? You're just vicious with it today.
When I was in school recently, they got me every single time.
Okay. Are you going to do your next question?
Yeah, I can go ahead and do my next one. So my last one is, so in school, I don't know if y'all had these type of questions, but we had these select all that applies that killed me every time. So I crafted a select all that apply for you guys, and it's which religious groups encourages a plant-based diet? Select all that apply. A, Seventh-day Adventists. B, Latter-day Saints. C, African Hebrew Israelites. D, Rastafarians. E, Jehovah's Witnesses.
Okay. B, C, D. That's what I said.
So I'm gonna just say one more time. A, Seventh-day Adventists. B, Latter-day Saints. C, African Hebrew Israelites. D, Rastafarian. And E, Jehovah's Witness.
Okay, I feel like I'm gonna miss some, but I'm definitely gonna go with A and D.
Okay.
I'm going with the PK, the preacher's kid. Whatever she said, no. Whatever she said, I'm going with her.
Anybody in the comments?
Oh, any guesses? Not yet. I think the people are scared of you, Jasmine. Oh no, we have one. Okay. We have Seventh-day Adventists, C and D from Bernadette. And then Dola says Seventh-day Adventists and African peoples. I think that's the Hebrew. Oh, here we go. Lena says none.
Hey, that could be the trick question. What if it's
Yeah, it could. I should have put none.
You should have.
Okay, so Bernadette, you are correct. It's Seventh-day Adventists, African Hebrew Israelites, and Rastafarians. So while these aren't, specifically vegan groups, some of the traditions that they promote is plant-based eating. So with the Seventh-day Adventists, Ellen White actually was one of the founding members of this group, and she encouraged the community to abstain from animal products to maintain a good health. So now some of the members adopt a vegan or vegetarian diet. And according to some studies back in 2015, roughly 32% are African American in the Seventh-day Adventist community. And actually, that one of the studies that they did in the Loma Linda community was Seventh-day Adventists. And then for the African Hebrew Israelites, they do promote vegetarianism. And I was actually, when I was looking at them, a community in Israel, Tel Aviv, this is considered the vegan capital of Israel. So if y'all looking for your next travel destination and you want to look around and see all these different vegan places, go to Tel Aviv. And then lastly, Rastafarians. Of course, Rastas eat a natural diet free from additives, chemicals, and most meat. And their primary cooking style is Italian. So
Nice.
Okay.
That's interesting. I don't know if anyone's ever been to like a Seventh-day Adventist grocery store before, but they have some really interesting products. Like when you go to the back of the store, like vegan hot dogs. They had vegan duck in a can. They had like vegan ham.
Really?
Like,
Okay.
all these like different meaty beef broth and pork broth, but it's all vegan. And I was just like, wow. And they've had it for a long time. So they've been way ahead of the game for decades and decades now.
There's one that's towards like DC. I forget the name of it, but yeah, we used to, my fiance and I used to go down there and just go crazy. And they used to have this vegan jerky that I really, really loved. And this was before like I saw a lot of mainstream jerky brands out. Oh, I love those things.
Yeah, honestly, I was raised in an area where a lot of people were Seventh-day Adventists. And because of it, that was my first exposure to vegetarianism. Actually, my first piece of tofu was from one of my friends who gave me tofu. She was seventh day. I was like probably in 7th grade, and I literally gasped. I was like, "Girl, what are you trying to do? Like, who wants you to do that?" Oh no! I literally have tofu egg salad, basically. So change.
Wow.
It's true. No, that's super interesting. Okay, so I think it is time to wrap up the trivia. I have one more question. All right. And we're getting into the field of athletics to wrap it all up. Okay. So my question is, in 1988, Seba Johnson, she's an athlete, actress, and vegan animal rights activist, became the first African-American woman to compete in the Winter Olympics in what sport? So I'll shorten that. In 1988, Seba Johnson became the first African-American woman to compete in the Winter Olympics in what sport? And so the options are A, bobsledding, B, skiing, C, speed skating, or D, the luge.
B.
Skiing.
B all day.
That the comments agree with you. And y'all are right. It's skiing. So in 1988, Seba was just 14 years old when she competed for the first time in the Olympics. And she went on to compete again in 1992, representing the Virgin Islands. And during the 1994 Olympics, she chose not to compete, even though she was eligible, in protest of Norway's decision to resume the cruel practice of whale hunting. So she's given up opportunities to compete in the Olympics because animal cruelty was very present in her sport and the qualifications and what was necessary to participate. So, but yes, she was the first Black woman to represent the U.S. in the Winter Olympics as a skier. So a lot of historical things going on in the Black vegan sphere that have a much greater impact on the entire world, I would say, across the board.
Yes, I love that you ended with that question, Jess, because that just goes back to even our theme for our conference. We all can be change makers, and even Seba, she was able to advocate her own line of work and still just title two things in. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and to be so young too. I mean, to be young to win at that age and compete, and to take that type of stand, it's amazing.
Yeah, and that's so big. Like to have so much on the line, but still put your values above that. It's just like, wow.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So cool.
Absolutely. I think that's a great tie-in, Jasmine, to the fact that the NAVCon Virtual Summit is tomorrow. The theme is We Can All Be Change Makers. And we have some great content to share. It starts at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We have an interview with the Afro-Vegan Society founder, Brenda Sanders, about the future of food justice. We also have an amazing cooking demo sharing some vegan, delicious holiday sides with Amira. And we also have an amazing panel that Jamila is moderating called Making an Impact. Wait, well, don't get me lying about the title of this. Basically, it's making your mark online in the digital space and also how that connects to making an impact in the real world. That's the gist of it. So we're talking about all things like empowering people to be the change and make changes in their communities and hold folks accountable so that the world can shift and that the next time we do this trivia, the answer will be indeed 20% African Americans are vegan and not just 8%.
Best believe.
Absolutely. We looking forward to seeing y'all. I've been actually subliminally imaging y'all before my earrings. I've been playing y'all. We want to see y'all tomorrow.
And you got some compliments on those earrings too, right? People were loving those in the comments. So yes.
They're fire.
Yes. Anybody have any other thoughts or anything else they're looking forward to with the virtual summit tomorrow?
It's hard to say what one thing I'm excited for. I guess I'm a little biased, but I'm very excited to see like what people have to say in the digital activism panel. Because once again, like we think of activism or vegan activism as usually being community organizing, which really feels like it's tangible and in person. But there's a lot, especially since we've been online mostly for the past 2.5 years. So like hearing what their perspectives are going to be like, the panelists, which you should be very excited for, y'all. Stay tuned. I'm very excited to see what their perspectives are going to be. I think it's going to be a great talk.
I'm gonna have to agree with Jamila. I think similar to what our attendees of the Black or participants from the Black Vegan Actors Training Program said, like they came into the program thinking they knew everything about veganism, but then they quickly realized, oh, there's so much more that I don't know. And then just being open to what other people have to share. So I think when we bring different vegans together, or different people together, and they're able to talk about these different ideas, that's a really powerful, place to continue to grow and continue to just learn things for yourself. Even if you've been in the game for a long time, it's like you don't know everything. And that's just going back to we all just need to be students of life and just be open to learning all the time. And I think that's the panel is the perfect place to do that and continue to grow and continue to share ideas. So that's what I'm most excited for.
So true.
Well, wonderful. Well, I think now is the perfect time to announce the winner of our giveaway. Let me just post it real quick on the screen again. Just as a reminder, we're giving away a Ninja air fryer today. And so it is time to select our winner. And the winner is, let's see, picking randomly.
Drum roll.
Yes, let's get some drum rolls. Crystal Morris. Thank you for everyone who entered today. Crystal says that Tracy McQuarter is one of her vegan inspirations in her cookbook and starting the 10 Million Black Vegan Women platform community. Yes, Tracy is doing amazing work. And thank you so much for participating, Crystal, with us this evening. In order to claim your prize, send an email to afrovegansociety@gmail.org with happy hour prize winner in the subject line, and then put your address in there and we will get this sorted out. So after the National Afro-Vegan Conference concludes, we'll get in contact with you about shipping your prize. So congratulations again, Crystal.
Congrats.
Can you run the email back one more time, please?
What'd you say?
Can you run the email back to her one more time, please? And
sure. I'm actually going to drop it in the chat. And Crystal is watching on YouTube. Okay, so I'm going to in the chat. Crystal, please email afrovegansociety@gmail.com with virtual happy hour in the subject and include your name and your shipping details, and then we will get back with you about shipping you out your prize. Okay, I'll drop that in the chat as well, so you can see it visually if you need that as well. But yes, thanks so much to everyone for being with us tonight. This was so much fun. And we're excited to see you again tomorrow. And if you enjoyed yourself this evening and you know anyone else who'll be interested in this type of content, information, and just online fellowship, share the registration link for NAVCon, okay? And yeah, we look forward to connecting with y'all tomorrow afternoon, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Y'all in.
So excited.
See you guys tomorrow.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you so much.